بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأولين والآخرين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. All praise are due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. May the blessings and peace of Allah be upon our Master Prophet Muhammad and upon his family and all his companions. Today we are going to talk about the third part of the book, Salvation of the Generation from Error and Guidance of the Youth to Excellence. This is lesson 12, and we are starting the third part, which is about fiqh, Islamic fiqh. As we know, there are four madhabis or four schools in Sunni Muslims. Hanafi school or Hanafi madhab, and Shafi'i school, Maliki school, and Hanbali school. We are learning the fundamentals and basics of Shafi'i school. And before we start the fiqh, we need to know the rulings of Islamic fiqh, the rulings of the sacred law. There are 5 rulings of the sacred law. The action of the person can be one of 5 things. Your action can be obligatory, compulsory, or recommended, optional, or permissible, mubah, or impermissible, muharram, or disliked, offensive, makruh. What is the obligatory? If you do something which is obligatory, that means Allah will reward you. And if you do not do that obligatory thing, Allah will punish you. In other way, obligatory is something if you do, you are rewarded. And if you omit, you are punished by Allah. For example, 5 prayers. 5 obligatory prayers. Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr. What is the recommended or optional? Optional is something if you do, you are rewarded. And if you omit, you are not punished. For example, 5 prayer and sunnah prayers which are not 5 obligatory prayers. Sunnah som, sunnah charity, they are optional. You can do. If you do, you will be rewarded, and if you don't do, you are not punished. What is the permissible thing or permissible action? Permissible action is the action if you do, you are not rewarded, and if you omit, you are not punished. For example, you're eating halal, you're sleeping, there is no any reward and there is no any punishment. But sometimes if you do an permissible action with good intention, you will be rewarded. What is the impermissible action? Impermissible action is the action if you omit, you are rewarded. And if you do, you are punished. For example, lying and zina, cheating, backbiting, and other permissible actions. If you do, you are punished. If you omit, or if you do not do, you are rewarded. what's disliked or offensive action, makruh. It is action. If you do not do, you are rewarded. And if you do, you are not punished. Something, if you do, you are not punished. And if you don't, you are rewarded. It is opposite of muharram. So these are 5 rulings of the sacred law. Obligatory, wajib in Arabic. Optional or recommended, mandub. Permissible, mubah. Impermissible, muharram. And disliked, makruh. So every action you do will be only one of these things. No other rule. Your action can be obligatory or recommended or permissible or impermissible or disliked. Okay, and these rulings are about only accountable person. When we say your action will be one of these things, we are talking about accountable person. We learned in Aqidah who is accountable person, someone who is pubescent or adult, and who has intelligence, whose 5 things, whose 5 senses are healthy, and who have got the invitation of Islam. Okay, we said accountable person. How can the person be accountable? The person can be accountable or adult if he has one of 3 things. If he is experienced of 3 things. And number 1, if he reaches the age of 15 years. We are talking about in Shafi'i madhab or Shafi'i school. If the person reach the age of 15 lunar years for a male and female, he or she is accountable. And if he or she do good action, they will be rewarded. If they do bad action, they will be punished. Or they didn't reach 15 lunar years. Lunar year is Islamic year, Islamic months. And they didn't reach 15 years. But they are experience a wet dream. They are experience a wet dream. At the age of 9, if they have got an wet dream for male and female, they are accountable. Also, if the woman is experience of period at the age of 9 years old, she is accountable. So if the person have one of these things, and he is accountable person. 2 are general for both male and female, and 1 is special for. Okay, now we are starting purification, tahara. We are talking about tahara. Tahara, when we are talking about tahara, there are things we use for tahara or to purify ourselves, such as water, such as sand, when we wanted to do dry ablution or tayammum. So we need to know the water we use and the rule of water we can use for tahara. When we are talking about water, water is a little amount or an abundant. Water is divided into two parts. Water is either a little or an abundant. What is the little amount of water? And what is the rule of the little amount of water? The little amount of water is a water which is less than 216 liters. Water which is less than 216 liters are a little amount of water. What is the rule of the little amount of water? If najasa or impurity fall into the little amount of water, that water becomes impure. That water becomes najasa, mutanajis, impure. And water is divided and impure, pure and purified. Impure is the water that najasa fall down into it. So if the najasa or if the impurity falls into the little amount of water, that water becomes impure. Even if the najasa does not change the color of the water, or it is taste, or it is smell. Even if there is no any change of its characteristics, there is no any change of its smell, there is no any change of the taste of the water, or there is no any change of the color of the water, always that water becomes najasa or impure if the impurity falls into it. That is the rule of the little amount of water. So if najasa falls into the water which is less than 216 liters, that water becomes impure. What is an abundant amount of water? The abundant amount of water is a water which is 216 liters or more. 216 liters and more are an abundant of water. They are al-ma'ul kathir. Okay, what is the rule concerning an abundant amount of water? If najasa falls into the abundant amount of water, that water does not become najasa, does not become impure. If najasa or if the impurity does not change the color and the taste and the smell of the water. But if it is changed the color or taste or the smell of the water, that abundant water becomes impure. That's it. So the little amount of water becomes impure straight when the najasa falls into it. An abundant amount of water does not become najasa if the najasa falls into it, if najasa does not change the color or taste or the smell of the water. And we will stop our lesson here. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.